Oh, yes. This was actually 45 years ago, wasn't it? Yeah. I found this article very interesting. The MiG 23. Yes. There was quite a problem with a conflict between Egypt and Israel. Yes. And 1973 Suez Canal crossing. Yes. Ariel Sharon. Yeah. Now, they were buying a lot, like $2 billion worth of sophisticated weaponry from the United States. Yes. And I understand the importance of doing business right. But Henry Kissinger's, step-by-step peace negotiations, yes. Um, as I remember the election that I watched in Egypt, yes, maybe you could have a call to them. Yeah. It could be that somebody's been loading up on weaponry. Poop. Now, for all of those American military industrial businesses that have to keep the doors open, the last thing we really need is for you to ship X number of billions of dollars right now. Why don't we give you a call? Because as I understand these nano satellites, yes, if I could put a bead on a person, in fact, I was thinking about it last night as I snort and I sniff, that there was what was known as the snapping. Yes, it was an odd sensation. I was at my grandmother's house and I had emailed those in the Leibowitz. Yes, they were Jewish individuals. Yes. Well, my uncle showed up and said, "Well, you got to go." But before he got there, there was this snapping sensation where you could snap on. Yes. The nerve endings around the eyes or quite possibly the nose. Yes. And I just wanted to know, did you make any satellites that allow for the snapping on of the broadband eye? Yes. Or quite possibly listening through the nose? Yes, yes, yes. Or these biochips that you say are non-existent that the Supreme Court was going to have to make a decision about? I think they are actual real. And for those in the Air Force that remember Guam, did somebody flash my chip numerous times so that I could be receptive to exactly what you're saying? Now, I have some technology in me, and I'm sure of it. Yes. Maybe you'd like to ask my wife about a certain surgeon on Guam where we were sleeping at Cliff's house. Yes. And I found his bed very odd because he was such a nice guy. Really a nice guy. Yes. He's one of those that worked with the Navy and Marines. He taught them grappling. He had a little grappling room in his in his own personal residence. It was padded so that if he wanted to extract some information the old-fashioned way, he would teach somebody how to grapple, and their inexperience would cause them a lot of pain until they called Uncle right now. He was good at what he did. He really was. I thought he was going to grapple my wife when we got there, considering what she was doing at the Tamuning Plaza. But as it happens, his bed was tilted the wrong way. Yes. Usually your head is above your feet. Yes. But his was tilted so that all the blood would run towards my head. And I thought Heidi must have had a surgeon do some pinning to my armpits. Yes. And then there was that, yeah. Does anybody have any idea of technology in my son's? Do you think I'm crazy? Well, why don't we just run through the frequencies, okay? Of those that she has known that might have put a biochip in one of their breasts, probably the left breast. Yes. Or maybe the right ass cheek or pooch. See, it's not just the swirling that is experienced when using a satellite. That's right. Not the magnetism from the television. Yes. It's not the sewing in of the electricity so you can electrocute anybody you want. Poop. Not the sonar. Okay. Isn't that right, dog? Yes. I just want to know, is there anything snapped on me right now? Oops, look at that. Somebody has my left hand. Good for you. Now you're going to write some big fat fucking checks, okay? Now, this Henry Kissinger that was very involved in the peace process right back there right now. Fat man, coach in the corner. Could you call Henry for me? Because as I see it, there are certain individuals that are really using their physical human bodies as a communication system for Israel. Now, Israel, I dislike you causing any wars, okay? And there was this guy, yes, Assad, a peace treaty is possible. And then Dion, yeah, and then you had this wall there. Yes, yes, yes. Now, could you get me the actual wall in Israel and any snapped on technology, any, well, little tiny satellites on top of the nation of Israel? Pooch. Now, I know it's disruptive to the government of Israel to have the removal of all the technological influence in your decision making, but I do not want another Middle East war. And I know Iran and Iraq, they're getting along fine, but we could cause a little conflict between Israel and one of its. Why don't you give me the wall in Israel right now and any biochips, implants, or snap-ons, and any of these now?